Okay, all right, my people. Yeah, you're welcome to my platform, Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and for those people who are already sleeping, good night. Happy new Monday, happy new week of the day, happy new Monday. So I greet you all at your location time. If you are watching for the first time, please share our program and like it and subscribe to our YouTube, our Facebook, and our Twitter. So God will bless you in abundance. Thank you. So I will play you two video today, two very important video that you will learn from it, and I will let you be the judge. So without wasting any more time of your time, please let me play you this video. Yeah, let's go and watch it. So is the title, "The White Men Should Return What They Stole from Black Men." The white men, this is all this European Union, Westerners, let me just call them in general, Westerners. What they stole from black men, what they stole from black nation, they should return it back. We need it, because if you stole something and you haven't returned the property back, and you have not shown any remorse, that's mean you are still a guilty asset. You are still a guilty, you are still a criminal, unless you are sober. You need to sober to what you did wrong. So all the whole African youth, they are asking for their property back. So let me play you this video. It was one of our lovely lady, she spoke on this video, so let's hear from her. Okay, let's go.
Biafran War that started in 1967.
Yeah, the history.
A woman told me a story about her elderly father.
This is history of.
It was early in the war, and they were in their Biafran hometown, feeling relatively safe because the war seemed far away. Then suddenly they heard the loud, terrifying sounds of bombing. Very close to them.
Terrible one.
And they knew that they had only minutes to leave their home and run into the interior for safety before the Nigerian soldiers arrived. The elderly father was a wealthy man, but the only thing he rushed to take with him was his ikenga, a piece of wood, a beautifully carved piece of wood.
This is historical.
But it wasn't just a piece of wood.
Of the country and
it was also the repository of spiritual meaning. The ikenga represented his chi, his personal spirit, as well as his ancestors, his guardian angels. I was struck by this story. This man, facing the possibility of never seeing his home again, chose the thing that mattered most to him. Of course, he cared about his material possessions, but he believed that those could eventually be replaced, while his ikenga was irreplaceable. There are ikengas in various museums all over the world today, and it is easy to forget as we stare and admire them behind cold and clinical glass barriers that these are objects that are religious, spiritual, sacred. Art lives in history, and history lives in art. Much of what we call African art are also documents that tell stories. Some are literal in their storytelling, like the beautifully ornate Benin stool that was sent to the Oba of Benin by his people when he was exiled by the British, and which he looked at and immediately could deduce from the carvings the state of his British plundered land. Other sculptures and carvings are more metaphorical. They speak to the dignity of a people, to their worldview, to their aspirations. Some of the early Christian missionaries across the African continent were very keen on destroying African art. Carved African deities, which they told the Africans were just magic.
By trick, they
I
trick
cannot
us.
help but
Just
wryly
imagine
wonder
that.
what could be more magical
Can you
than the
imagine?
story of a man who dies and
Tricky
then
by
magically
stealing.
rises again. A man who also manages to magically give his body as bread.
Oyinbo, they are
And I
tricky
say
by
this, by the
stealing.
way, as a newly returned Roman Catholic. The point is that belief systems vary, and as long as they feed the spiritual needs of a people, they're valid.
Exactly.
We cannot be dismissive of a belief system merely because it is unfamiliar to us, just as we cannot be dismissive of a history because we are uncomfortable with it. So I'd like to tell a small story about a Nigerian woman who's married to a Belgian and has lived in Belgium for many years. She said once that she was shocked that her son, while being taught Belgian history, was taught nothing about Congo. They teach my son in school that he must help the poor Africans, she said, but they don't teach him about what Belgium did in Congo. Now, if her son does not learn that the modern Congo state began 100 years ago as the personal property of a brutal Belgian king who was desperate to get wealthy from ivory and rubber, if her son does not learn that the hands of Congolese people were chopped off with rusty axes for not producing enough resources to meet a king's greed, if her son does not learn that the Belgian government later ruled Congo with a deliberate emphasis on not producing an educated class,
what an ironic and tragedy
if this
story.
young Belgian boy knows nothing of these incidents, then at some point they will perhaps no longer have happened, because the past, after all, is the past because we collectively acknowledge that it is so. It is not that Europe has denied its colonial history. That would be too crude. It is instead that Europe has developed a way of telling the story of its colonial history that ultimately seeks to erase that history. The former French Prime Minister Nicolas Sarkozy gave a now infamous speech in Senegal in which he said, "I have not come to deny mistakes or crimes. Mistakes were made and crimes committed. But no one can ask of the generations of today to expiate this crime perpetrated by past generations." This is central to the story that Europe tells itself about its colonial history. It is a story that basically says, yes, colonialism happened, but. And whatever comes after the but is the focus of the story. What the focus on the but does is that it absolves. It frees Europe of responsibility of a significant and traceable connection to the African present, and it allows Europe the glow of charity. But the truth is that the past does not merely tell us what happened yesterday, it also illuminates what happens today. If we acknowledge that present-day Europe is shaped by the Renaissance of 600 years ago, by the Enlightenment of 300 years ago, then surely we cannot say that what happened merely 100 years ago in Africa no longer matters.
Exactly.
It matters.
It matters a lot.
We are gathered today in this reconstructed palace, a beautiful place, but also a place that represents Germany's nostalgia for imperial times. When Kaiser William II lived here, German troops were killing children, women, and men in Southwest Africa. This building says that German history matters, even in a romanticized form. The history of Africa and Asia and Latin America must matter as well. We cannot pick and choose which histories and which points of view still matter, because to do this would be an ugly exercise of brute power. And speaking of power, here's a headline I just read in a German publication. The headline says, "Where do Africa's treasures belong?" Now imagine this headline differently. Imagine if it said, "Where do Germany's treasures belong?" It would be a redundant question, because of course, Germany's treasures belong in Germany. But the question would never even be asked because there would be no circumstance in which it would be, because of power. And so it seems to me that what we are fundamentally grappling with in this space, in all of these questions about the Humboldt Forum, is power. Unequal power, how we navigate unequal power relations. And there's always been, to me, something shabby about unequal power relations. The victory feels colorless, almost unearned. So I spoke of Belgium and its colonial history, but what of Germany and its colonial history? Do school children here learn about Namibia, what was called the German Southwest Africa? Do school children know that 100,000 Herero people were murdered by the Germans? Do they know of the wells that were poisoned? Do they know of the women used as sex slaves and others as slaves in German camps? Do they know of the Nama people killed and of the Maji Maji revolt in German East Africa?
Cruel acting by this white men.
And why should they know?
White men.
Because to
brutality.
tell only one part of a story is essentially to lie. A story is true only when it is complete. Germany is Beethoven, and Germany is Bach, and Germany is also its colonial atrocities that have resulted in hundreds of African skulls being stored in the basement of museums here in Berlin, skulls of men whose spirits cannot be at rest, men who could well have been my great-grandfather had I happened to have been born in Eastern rather than Western Africa. It is only fair to fully own all of the stories of Germany. All countries have parts of their pasts that they're not proud of, that they would rather forget. But it takes courage to face those parts and bring in some light. And this is a time for courage. The courage to hear dissenting voices, such as those of the people who are outside right now protesting. They should be heard and included. They have valid concerns. The courage not merely to say, we take your criticism, but to follow it with action. The courage to say, we were wrong. The courage to say about art acquired illicitly, this is not ours. Tell us what to do with it. The courage to do provenance work and to actively use local knowledge. The courage to act and to act now and not become crippled by endless planning and endless talking. The courage to believe that it can be better. We cannot change the past, but we can change our blindness to the past. And why, by the way, is the term ethnological used for art from certain parts of the world and not art for other parts of the world? And then in discussing some of this art that we term ethnological, and I would argue that the language itself already suggests a hierarchy of value, when we talk about this art that was stolen, we're told that they cannot be returned to Africa, for example, because Africans will not take good care of them. It is not merely condescending to say, I cannot return what I stole from you because you will not take good care of it.
Ridiculous.
It is also lacking in basic logic.
Logically,
since when
idea
has the basis of ownership
all this
been taking good care of what is owned? This position is paternalistic arrogance of the most stunning sort. It does not matter whether Africans or Asians or Latin Americans can take care of the art stolen from them. What matters is that it is theirs. The brilliant Nigerian artist Victor Hikameno put it much better than I could, and in very Nigerian terms. He says, if I come and steal your wrapper, and I say I won't give you back your wrapper, because you will not
maintain it. Sorry guys. That is obvious nonsense.
Nigerian Biafran War that started in 1967. So
sorry guys, I would like to play another video. This one is about Tinubu and Atiku the petition they wrote to the Illinois court, the court of Illinois, that is the Chicago court, that he should provide his school certificate. So they still on it. The school certificate that this man provide is fake. So they want to prove to the law that he doesn't provide the tangible certificate. So that one is a fraud. So that is what the conclusion of the judiciary over there. They are, I think what they rule on, that is their decision. So we want to hear from the source now. So let's hear the correspondent.
1999 as amended read thus: a person shall be qualified for election to the office of the president if A. he is a citizen of Nigeria by birth,
Yeah.
B. he has attained the age of 40 years, C. he is a member of a political party and is sponsored by that political party,
As you can see.
and D. he has been educated up to at least school certificate level or its equivalent. According to this section of the Nigerian Constitution, Bola Ahmed Tinubu qualifies to be president of Nigeria on the grounds of birth because he was born in Nigeria. He also qualifies to be president because he is above the prescribed 40 years of age. His being sponsored by the All Progressives Congress APC also meant he is qualified. But did he meet the provision of the last section of the Constitution,
No.
which says he must be educated up to at least a school certificate or its equivalent?
We didn't
In
know that.
1999, when Tinubu contested election for the office of Governor of Lagos State, he made the positions an oath to the effect that he graduated from Government College of Ibadan in Oyo State. A few months into his administration of Lagos State, the news broke that Tinubu had forged both his age and academic records. A petition signed by the duo of Alhaji Jamid Serki and Dr. Waliu Balogun Smith, dated August 12, 1999, accused him of lying on oath over his age and academic records. The petitioners alleged that Tinubu's claims in INEC Form CF-001 that he attended Government College Ibadan and another claim that he attended Chicago State University were all false. However,
All
the two
false.
fell on the Lagos State
Can
House
hear
of
that.
Assembly to investigate the claims.
All is
The House looked the other
Oluwole.
way because all its members were of the same political party. In an investigative report by the news magazine, Tinubu's claim of having attended St. Paul's School, Aroloya, was found to be false, as the school did not exist as at the date Tinubu claimed he attended it. The news magazine would later find out that his name was not on the register of Government College Ibadan as at the date he claimed. The magazine also punctured Bola Tinubu's other educational claims. The news magazine was at the time published by Bayo Ononuka, one of Tinubu's ardent lapdogs today. One would ask, what happened? Disturbed by these developments, Chief Gani Fahimi approached the Federal High Court and sought an order to compel the Nigerian police to investigate
So
the allegations of forgery against Tinubu and prosecute him if found to have made false claims on oath. Chief Fahimi was represented in the matter by Ebon Olu Adeburua, now a senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, while Tinubu was then represented by Professor Yemi Oshibajo, SAN, who at the time was the Attorney General of Lagos State and Commissioner for Justice. The Nigeria Police was represented by Sunday Hindero, Commissioner of Police in charge of legal. They all appeared and argued the matter before Justice Sunday Wilson Egbo, who upheld the argument that Tinubu could not be investigated because he was protected by Section 308 of the Constitution. Not satisfied, Fahimi took the challenge up to the Supreme Court, which dismissed the case on technical grounds. Soon after the matter, Justice Egbo was fired by the National Judicial Council (NJC). However, Tinubu had a miraculous turnaround when filing his INEC nomination forms for re-election in 2003.
you can hear the
In the same
manipulation.
INEC from CF-001,
Manipulation
where only 4 years
all
earlier
around
he made
the
claims
all
to
around the
academic
case.
attainment, including Government College Ibadan, where he
bad.
claimed to have gotten his
On
school
our judiciary.
certificate. Tinubu, like a chameleon, changed. He entered an A in all the columns requesting his academic qualifications. Earlier in 1999, Senator Bola Tinubu had claimed to have attended St. Paul's School and Government College Ibadan. But by 2003, he entered an A on the column for his primary school and secondary school attainment. According to the interpretation of abbreviations, NA could either mean not available, not applicable, not assessed, or no answer.
Everything is blank.
All these were from a Tinubu who, while defending the Fawemi legal challenge, claimed that his academic records got lost while in exile. This is beside the allegation that the NYSC certificate presented by Bola Ahmed Tinubu
Another
to INEC
story.
as part of the documents
Can you imagine?
clearance
Get
to contest
lost
for the prime office
and he cannot find
does
it
not belong
inside
to
the
him.
computer.
According to a publication in Premium Times, the certificate presented by Tinubu to INEC bore the name Tinubu Bola Adekunle, indicating that it also may have been forged. Information gathered from those who have details of Tinubu's records revealed that the document showing
So
the
much
differences in
wrongdoing.
name came under scrutiny by the Presidential
So much
Petitions Election
wrongdoing.
Court.
So much
Judges of the court.
technicality.
Symphony News was told
Illegality.
had difficulties reconciling Bola Ahmed Tinubu as contained in his INEC form CF001 and Tinubu Bola Adekunle. Both names are glaringly not the same. Even Tinubu's lead counsel, Wole Olanipekun SAN, could not find arguments to defend the differences as Ahmed and Adekunle are different names. Questions about Tinubu's eligibility to contest the 2023 presidential election on account of his academic records and allegations of perjury will never go away.
Ǹlẹ́ o ẹlẹ́tàn.
Yeah, Baba.
Ọ̀tànyàn àtànyàn títí débi pé wọ̀ gangan ò sì fura pé o ti fẹ́
This
tán.
is what we use to round up the show.
Sọ́ọ̀mù pẹ́ni tí bá ti ń tàn yìí pẹ́ tán ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, bá mi sọ fún wọn.
Àwọn èèyàn mẹ́ta kan wà tó ò lè tàn. O ò lè tanra rẹ.
Exactly.
Torí bí wọ́n bá ń tànyàn
You
tẹ́ni
cannot
tó ń
deceive
tàn ọ̀bá mọ̀
yourself.
ọ̀sá mọ̀ pé wọ́n ń tànyàn. Àkọ́kọ́ nù.
O ò lè tán
O
lọ́run.
ò lè tan Sàtánì. Torí Sàtánì gangan bá bẹ̀ tán ni. Tún wá gbọ́. O ò lè tan Elédùmarè bàbá mi.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Jáwọ́ nú ẹ̀ tán.
Mo má bàa tán.
Ire o.
Ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà, that is a word for the wise, you know. So, you are the judge. I will leave this video for you guys to judge it and know what is the reality, you know. So, anyway, let me run. So, till tomorrow, I surely bring update to you guys. So, please stay tuned. Tune our channel, Timo Starboy channel blogs on Facebook, on Twitter at Timothy Oladipo 1, on YouTube Timo Starboy Reality Talk TV. So please follow us on our 3 pages and God will bless you. Amen. So till then, have a wonderful week. Bye. Love you all.